The latest track has Ida moving over Cuba. As it moves back into the Gulf of Mexico, we are expecting this to be a Cat 1 hurricane, and then quickly now gaining intensity and strength. Notice by early Sunday to a major status. The track this morning had just before landfall becoming a major hurricane. Now, with this track and the updates that we are seeing, I would raise a couple concerns here. As it sits in the open waters in the Gulf with a little more time, watch for potential strengthening. It is not out of the question that we could have a Cat 4 just before landfall. So either way, it's going to be a major hurricane. We're setting up with really extreme conditions right along the coastline of Louisiana, and you can see that's why they're already under that hurricane watch. Also, though, a big change with the latest track is how quickly now Ida is expected to weaken. So it's going to blast in and then blast out. So it's expected to then weaken back to a tropical storm. This morning, if you were watching the track, the 4 a.m. update or the 7 a.m. update was it still had it as a Category 2 hurricane over about a 12-hour period. So again, it's strengthening earlier by early Sunday morning as now a major hurricane, and then after making landfall, it weakens pretty quickly down to a tropical storm. I'll put this into motion for you so you can see this a little bit closer. Where as far as the cone of uncertainty, the track, that hasn't really changed a whole lot. Okay, we're still looking all areas east of the Texas-Louisiana border, and this pretty much now takes you through the entire state of Louisiana, and that puts us completely out of the cone of uncertainty. That puts us out of direct landfall. Any impacts here or along the Texas coastline will mainly be rip currents or elevated surf, elevated seas, and especially during high tide, we'll probably watch some of those waves really pick up, and we'll be able to pick those up. But otherwise, the main difference between the track that we're getting now and the one that you saw previously was it becomes a major hurricane, a Cat 3, earlier than what we originally thought. Originally, we were expecting this to happen by the afternoon, just before landfall on Sunday, and now it looks like it's going to happen a little bit earlier. We'll also have to watch the timing. That will also change. You know, right now it's got some land interaction. I'm going to show you the latest satellite imagery, but I wanted you to see the latest track from the National Hurricane Center. Again, the cone of uncertainty, that hasn't really changed a whole lot. It's mainly the intensity that was upgraded a little bit earlier. To kind of put things also in perspective, I know a lot of you watching right now either got a push alert, and that's where you're watching from Houston, but maybe you have some friends, family, you want to see some of the expected rainfall totals. So notice here locally, we could be looking at a half to an inch and a half of rain today through Monday evening. I'm taking our future track out to a 7 o'clock Monday night, but notice here, when you see some of these yellow, orange, and even tend to those brighter colors, that's potentially 5 to 10 inches plus rain. Up to about 15 could be expected in these areas. So that's the dramatic difference from what we're going to anticipate here locally, and then compared to what we're expecting not only along the coast of Louisiana, some of this extends even through portions of the panhandle of Florida. The latest satellite imagery, we are starting to get some land interaction with Cuba. You can start to see some of those outer bands working. That's going to limit strengthening and that intensification really quickly with the land interaction. Once it moves into the open waters, into the Gulf, forget about it. That's when it's going to strengthen really, really quickly. Right now, we have max sustained winds at 65 miles per hour. We will continue to monitor, of course, if the latest tracks come out, and they're expecting this to upgrade anytime soon. I don't think it's going to happen probably through the afternoon. Not out of the question, maybe tonight or extremely early tomorrow morning. Northwest movement around 15 miles per hour. That's pretty much on track with what the original forecast had. So not much has changed in that perspective. We have seen throughout the morning some strengthening. About 3 o'clock this morning, max sustained winds were at 45 miles per hour. Then they climbed to about 60. Now we're up to about 65. But all in all, that's been about the same. And we're staying below hurricane strength right now. Yeah, Addison.
Ooh, here we go. We got this.
Wait a minute, where's my elbow, Bob?
That's all right. It's all good. All good
Okay.
here. So just looking at the latest information, I was working on a separate system right here in the Weather Center, starting to notice that it's starting to become a little more energetic, this system right here. And you can certainly see that convection starting to blossom in nicely, especially around that center of circulation right there. And we've actually seen those cloud tops getting nice and tall. So yeah, Ida is definitely getting a little more robust, but once it goes over Cuba, Chita, definitely all is fair game right there in the open waters of the Atlantic Ocean.